social distancing and shit. Got to maintain that 6-foot distance and shit. And watch out for dog shit. So I decided to step out to the park. I came to the one I thought would be like the least likely to be crowded, because locally they have said that they are going to shut down parking lots. This parking lot's wide open and it's huge, so it's easy to park away from motherfuckers, though people do tend to still cluster together when they park. But for the most part, what I'm seeing here, despite seeing some people that are closer than 6 feet to each other, they tend to be families that are just looking to get out of the house. And so far, that's still allowed. It's been rather disturbing, the level of hysteria and fear that have been going on out here in the fucking world. Like, people are calling 911 because they see other groups of people. And while I understand the thoughts behind it, the fact that, you know, people think that people are going to die if you see people clustering together, but what you don't know is those people are taking precautions. Like, for example, I'm out here right now and I'm doing my best to stay away from people, you know, and just because you see a group doesn't mean that they're not taking precautions. You don't know anything about them. First of all, they might be essential workers, and so they're taking a chance anyway, and they might just want to hang out after work. And where are they supposed to go? You know, they could go to each other's houses, which, what are you gonna do, police that too? And it just really makes me sick that people automatically assume things and they want to call the cops on people. It's so much so that they have said, they've made a broadcast here that says, don't call the cops, don't call 911 when you see people grouped together. Meanwhile, if you go into a fucking grocery store around here, people are clustered all up in there. And I bet you they're the same motherfuckers calling 911. Last I checked, everybody needs fucking toilet paper. Made that pretty clear early on. And it's just ridiculous. It really is. Now, I'm not saying don't take precautions. Social distance, that's fine. But we don't have to stay in the house, all right? You can do what I'm doing today. Get out into the fucking world. Get some sunlight. Sunlight kills the virus, probably. I don't know. It's not very scientific. And you can, you know, if you stay cooped up in the house, you're going to have mental health problems. You're just asking for mental health problems. Especially if you stay inside and you watch the fucking mainstream media all day. I have tried to minimize. I do try and keep up with certain things. But there's certain news organizations I've dismissed altogether because they're fucking worthless at this point. One thing to consider is watch the briefings. Whether or not you agree with the president, or whether or not you agree with your local governor, or if you're in another country, whether or not you agree with your leader, watch the live briefings, because you're not going to get any media spin during that. You might get some government spin, some politician spin, but you won't get any fucking, you know, media bullshit on top of it, or things taken out of context, or things inflated to make you angry. I see so much anger, and, you know, granted, I picked the wrong fucking time to get back on Facebook. But I figured, you know, with me going back in the truck, hopefully, we'll get to that in a minute. With me going back in the truck, I'm going to need to be able to keep in touch with friends and, you know, not so much family, but more friends. And that's going to be the way I do it. It's very wet here. Oh, that's not nice. Oh, I see a lot on Facebook of politics, of course. That hasn't changed since I left. And I'm really... And now you've got two camps of people on Facebook divided about the virus. We'll just call it the virus. I think the less I say that, the less YouTube punishes me. You got people that are less... You know, you got people that are worried about economics and freedom, and then you got people who are worried about people giving it to people, and especially if there's vulnerable people that they're trying to protect. I myself am on the side that we can do both, you know, identify positive cases, isolate them. I want to follow the South Korean model for containing this, because they're the only ones I see that actually flatten the curve without bolting motherfuckers in boxes or fudging reports. Don't give me that China shit. I know they're lying. I've seen enough viral videos and enough unbiased sources that report in China, with sources in China, to know that they're full of shit. They're still just as bad as the rest of us. You mean to tell me the United States suddenly passed China, despite the fact that China has this huge population density and way more population than New York State and the United States in general? And somehow they get 0 cases, or they flatten their curve, so to speak. Bullshit. They stopped testing. They stopped letting motherfuckers in the hospital. So before you quote China, as I've said before, nearly every place that has fucking locked down since this whole fucking thing started has had a huge death toll. And every place that has done extensive testing, prepared their healthcare system, and really just monitored people that were sick and isolated them instead of shutting down everything, they flatten their curve. They're able to manage it. Their death toll is low. What you're seeing in Italy, and the thing that the media loves to parade in front of you, is a worst case scenario of an overwhelming of the healthcare system. And I shit you not, we are facing the same thing here in the United States, particularly here in New York, but we are out ahead of it. We're building hospitals, we're building bed spaces, we're producing ICU beds and ventilators. You know, it's all fucking Cuomo talks about here in New York. And we have the highest death toll in the United States here. And, you know, it sucks. So I'm not saying we can go back to life like it used to be. But I am saying, with the right testing, with the right ability to monitor positive cases, we can probably turn some things back on. We're not going to go back to the life the way it was. That ship has sailed at this point. We're also not going to contain it. A lot of people think that if you stay inside for 3 months, this fucking thing's going away. Yet, even with the lockdown, we have slowed the doubling, but like Cuomo said this morning, we're still doubling. You know, we still haven't stopped the wave that's going to crash on our healthcare system. So I wanted to get on here, and first I wanted to talk about some things I believe people can do to not fucking destroy your personal finances. Waiting for the check from the government's all well and good if you're one of the lucky ones that's going to get one. I believe as an independent contractor on pretty much everything I do, I'm probably not going to get a check. Uber isn't going to do anything for me other than maybe I could apply for 15 days of pay, I believe was the last I looked. I can actually still go out and work Uber. I'm choosing not to because I'm taking precautions, because I do have someone vulnerable in my life. So I am being careful. The other thing I have obviously done is I've just finished orientation for trucking. And that is going to allow me to continue to live, continue to make money. It's even going to get me to travel a bit, although not under ideal circumstances. And it's also going to isolate me from the vulnerable population. I will be out there with the other essential workers doing essential work shit. Does it mean I could get sick? Absolutely it does. It's a risk. Does it mean I'm immune? Probably not. It probably, you know, I'm rolling the dice. You know, I got an 80% chance of winning where I don't have to go to the hospital. If I get sick, I'm going to have to quarantine and isolate. And you know what? I really can't do that in my living situation because I would be exposing other vulnerable people to that. So I would have to isolate in the truck or in my car. And I am currently have been beefing up my car camping solution in case for some reason trucking doesn't work out. So that if I need to isolate, I can. And it's not going to be easy. You could living in a car or a truck when everything's shut down, except for essential shit. I don't know if they've considered people that don't have a place to crash and stay solo and isolated if they get the virus. Hopefully I don't get the virus. So far, my temperature's been normal. I've had no symptoms, no coughing, no nothing. I have no indicators that I currently have the virus or anything like that, and nor am I worried about it. It's one of those things where I've accepted a choice that I feel I have the freedom to make, and I can do so in a responsible fucking way and not expose anybody else that isn't also making that choice. Now, do I think some irresponsible individuals will make that choice and then still expose vulnerable people? Probably. And fuck them. You know, if you can get out and observe social distancing rules and protect yourself, wash your hands, do all the things that the White House has told you to do as far as prevention, then you'll probably not infect any of the vulnerable population. Also, if you're a member of the vulnerable population, stay the fuck home. Get deliveries to your door, whether it's Amazon or Uber or one of these other things. Sanitize the deliveries, take precautions, have them leave it on your doorstep, and then you come out when they're gone and get it with gloves and a mask on. You know, there's all kinds of things you could do. Have friends drop shit off or buy shit for you if you have money. If you don't have money, hopefully you get some money soon. But in the end, we're on a tightrope right now, and we're balancing trying to stay away from the virus versus our motherfucking economy. And the economy might even cause more damage. When you think about it, you think about the crime rate that's going to skyrocket. Think about when people start running out of food, things are going to get bad, you know. And we stand in a position right now to try and prevent that from happening. You know, the other thing I think that we're wrong about in this social isolating, like I just watched literally a family of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people. I just counted them. They're over there. That's 9 motherfuckers over there. Some of whom are kids, some of whom are old. So you've essentially put all of those people together. If one of those individuals goes to the store to buy groceries for all of those individuals, and I'm willing to bet that they run through supplies pretty quick with that many kids, if they're in the same household. I don't know that either. I'm willing to bet that they're going to give it to the entire family because of how close-knit they are. There's no social distancing going on in that group right now. And they aren't alone. I'm not about to call fucking cops and say, look, there's 9 people hanging out together. Because I can only assume, not that it's my fucking business, by the way, that they are a family and they're just getting out of the house so they don't murder each other. I don't know if I can say that. So they don't do shit to each. I don't know. I'm fucking leaving it up. If Facebook or if YouTube deletes it, it deletes it. But, you know, it's a matter of common sense. The media really has people wound up tight, and I hate to see it because it sucks, and I'm almost stepping in some shit. I'm gonna start some new fucking pandemic here. Got geese and shit. Yeah, geese. They're gonna fuck me up. Yeah, that sucks, doesn't it? You need to stay 6 feet apart, motherfuckers. Yeah. Don't worry, that water's not polluted at all. I hear you. I gotta figure out how to get past this fucking thing. Can I walk over it? So, you know, I see, like, even YouTubers, like I was watching Nomadic Fanatic, and I guess he went somewhere and somebody fucking tried calling the cops on him. Meanwhile, he lives alone and isn't going home to expose anybody to anything. Did I get ticks? There's absolutely nothing wrong if you can observe social distancing with getting out into the world. And I ain't gonna fucking, even if I don't end up in a truck, you're gonna see a motherfucker hiking, backpacking, camping as the weather improves. It's still pretty fucking cold. It's supposed to rain this weekend. So, but hopefully Monday I'll be in the truck. And then I'll be out on the road and I'll be helping out, you know, keeping the supply chain going. But I'll be at risk. You know, I have no doubt that I will be at risk. I will always be at risk. So will the rest of you. I hate to break it to you. It's inevitable. This will spread through the population. We will all have to do that dice roll eventually. It's coming. Every one of us is going to roll the dice. 80% of us are just going to get sick and stay home for 15 to 20 days to get better, sometimes longer. 20% of us are going to have to go to the hospital. 5% of the people that go to the hospital are going to get treated and released back home on quarantine. 15% are going to require hospitalization. Here in New York, 1 to 2%, and this is greatly dependent on the amount of ventilators, by the way, 1 to 2% are not going to make it. Those tend to be people that have underlying health conditions, and as we know here in the United States, there's a lot of underlying health conditions. Every single person watching this video, someday, maybe not today, maybe not for another couple months because you're isolated in your house, but someday you're going to have to roll that dice. This disease is not going anywhere anytime soon. I only hope I win my roll, then I become immune, allegedly. We don't know that yet either, till it evolves again and it becomes endemic, as in we'll have a seasonal coronavirus response. We'll have a seasonal viral response. I keep forgetting I'm trying to put this on YouTube. So that's my thoughts on what's been going on. I realize I haven't been online. I've been busy with orientation and trying to get shit ready to go on the road. So let me talk about that a little bit. I still don't have an answer on if I'm fully hired yet. I haven't been coded in yet. Where some things are going slow, largely due to this virus bullshit. And so I don't have a straight up answer on being hired just yet. And I'm being told that Monday I'll know one way or another. And I'm not even guaranteed a truck at that point, so there's that. So I'm hoping everything goes smoothly, that I end up on the road. I'm actually, after I get done here, I'm gonna have to go into the stores because there's some supplies I need to buy for the truck and for car camping if I don't make it into the truck, and for backpacking, because I'm spinning up my backpack. I'm getting my gear ready, and if I go out in the truck, I'll go out in the truck. If I don't get hired, I will probably start backpacking and maybe traveling a little bit to isolated areas before you fucking take a dump on me. I have some places in mind that I know not a lot of motherfuckers will be, and those are places I will go. And I'll of course take all of you with me. I'll continue to produce content. As you know, I did not live stream Thursday. Some of you apparently didn't watch the video that told you I wasn't going to live stream. But I'm going to let you know now that, and you're probably going to watch this first on DLive, because I am going to test that out as well. DLive is a platform to premiere my videos at the very least. And that's kind of a format I'm going to roll with in the future. So as you watch this right now, if you're watching this on DLive, I'm in the chat room chatting with you while you watch it. And also, it will then go to YouTube and LBRY, whichever takes it, that is. But most likely, there'll always be a copy on LBRY if I can do it. But I have a lot of testing to do in that realm. If you're not subscribed to ScottTheTruckDriver.com right now, chances are you might miss out when I do some test live streams, and I do plan on doing some live stream testing pretty soon. So subscribe to my free email list on ScottTheTruckDriver.com. As I told y'all before, donations are no longer necessary, at least not now, for me to continue to produce content, because I am going back in the truck. I have, you know, put aside some savings to get me through a couple months. So if I don't get hired, I'll have to figure out what to do. I'll probably go back to Ubering and LBRY and Instacart or some other shit. If I don't get back in a truck, one way or another, I'm probably going to work. But I probably will try and take a month before returning to Uber if I don't get hired as a truck driver. I'll probably take a month or so to get out into the woods, do some camping, do some wilderness fasting, and backpacking, assuming the weather warms up a bit. At least that's the plan. It's the plan and shit. This is kind of swampy here. You want a social distance from motherfuckers, just go hang out in the swamp. And shit. There's literally swamp all through here. Basically, I'll be on DLive testing my trucking setup. And if it's not my trucking setup, it'll be my car camping setup, minus a few things if it's the car, because I just don't have the room for extra shit. So I'll be working on that tonight or tomorrow night. If you're watching this on Saturday, that is the day I'm planning on going live. I think tonight mainly I'm going to be focusing on getting my OBS set up for both DLive. As far as karaoke, I'm not going to bring my mixer out on the road, so I don't know that I can do karaoke. I might be able to do something. I'm gonna fuck around with it and see what I can do and accomplish today with my setup. If I get some things working, I might be able to do some karaoke. But for now, it's gonna be no karaoke while I'm on the road, which sucks because I like doing that. Eventually I'll figure out a way to have a mixer on the road. But right now I don't think I'm gonna have enough power to do that. I'm gonna have a couple of small inverters to run my shit, and I just won't have enough to power a mixer on top of everything else. At least not until I can put a real inverter in, if that's even possible, which might not be allowed. So there's that. As for podcasting, I mentioned a format change for my live streams. I'm going to pre-record my talks for the podcast and do it kind of in a premiere style. And what I'll do is, when I feel like I need to address a question, I'll pause my talk and interject live to answer questions and interact with you guys live. Or if I think it's something I can just type a response to, I'll do that. So that's kind of the plan there with the live streams. I will also do live streams from my phone. So at some point I'll be testing that out as well. And we'll see how that works out. Gotta move out of the way as people come down the trail. So that's my plan anyway for the channel. I ain't gonna lie, it's been kind of a stressful period for me. But I think it's just par for the course for everyone. I think everybody's stressed right now. I can't think of a person that isn't stressed in some way. Whether it's financial, whether it's, you know, being isolated, with, you know, and the sad thing is a lot of people are isolated and turning to social media, so much so that apparently bandwidth for the internet is a concern now. Don't get me started there. But apparently, you know, people are turning to social media to do it. How's it going? So apparently people are turning to social media now. And social media has been pretty toxic. So, and not to mention, you're pretty much glued to the news. Unplug every now and then. You know, it's really easy to get consumed with that, especially if you're staying in the house because you're vulnerable. And while interacting with people is definitely important when you're isolated, try and keep it to positive interactions. You know, if you have somebody making you feel like shit, maybe don't interact with them as much. Look at that. There's all the fucking tables and shit. Oh. So try and keep it positive, and that's what I'm going to try and do. Though I do keep up with the news, but I like to think that it doesn't affect me that much. But I've definitely been stressed, and I've bordered on depression. As for my diet, I have fallen off it a couple times, just because I've been pretty opportunistic when it comes to free meals. I didn't feel right in this current economic climate in turning down a free meal even though it didn't fit my diet. So I have had one too many cheat days, but when I'm home, I'm definitely still staying keto, and I'll be keto as much as possible. You know, maybe not fat adapted because of the extra shit, but if I can be keto, I'll be keto. If I have to eat something else because there's no other options, or I can't find a good keto food or what have you, it is what it is there. So I know some of you might be disappointed in that, but hey, it's the way the times are right now and shit. It is what it is. So yeah, it's rough shit and shit. You can tell it's spring, which is good. I'll be able to get out on some trails soon, at least while that's still allowed. And I don't give a fuck. If I'm out here by myself, I'm obeying the fucking rules. I don't, you know, I'll avoid motherfuckers. Like you see me doing. Somebody coming up the trail, I move the fuck out of the way. They won't move the fuck out of the way. Like if I stay on the trail, they'll run right up to me. I've seen it. But so I take it upon myself to distance from the trail when I see somebody approaching. So there's that. But that being said, you know, unless we lock down everything, that's the only way, by the way, that we stop this spread and this exponential wave that, you know, that despite Cuomo's best efforts, I don't think is going to happen, and any other government for that matter. So the key to I believe is going to be to slow the spread is not so much locking down everyone, because like I said, you had that family of 9. It's only going to take one of them to go out and fuck up, and then that whole family's fucked. And there's examples of it in China where multiple family members in the household died from this disease. So locking down is kind of horrible unless you are fully prepared to lock down, as in you cannot leave your house for any reason whatsoever, not even essential. That's the only lockdown that'll work. And it is totally the wrong thing to do, by the way. I don't think we should do that. I'm saying that the lockdowns that we've implemented are going to be largely ineffective at flattening the fucking curve, whatever the fuck that means. Only a few countries have pulled it off, and like I said, South Korea didn't shut all the way down. You know, so that's what I think. That's my professional truck driver opinion, which, who gives a shit? If you disagree with me, and I see that too, I see people that think I'm a piece of shit because I prefer freedom. I prefer a working economy to prevent a depression, a Great Depression. And our current system that we've set up to deal with the virus is going to create more problems than it's going to solve. And that's just my opinion. But at the same time, I'm not a cold, callous piece of shit. You know, I'm going to do what I can to not fuck anybody up, you know? I'm going to do what I can to not expose the vulnerable. And if I do get exposed to somebody, it's more likely because they're taking the same risk I am and probably are aware of the risk that they're taking. If you're vulnerable, I cannot stress enough that you are the one that needs to take the most precautions. But even still, even if you're not vulnerable, this can affect healthy people. It can fuck you up if you're healthy. And I hope it doesn't, but you are rolling the dice. You're not immune. Nobody's fucking immune unless you already had it. And you don't know if you already had it until you get that antibody test that they're working on. So once that test is perfected and gets out to the masses, and they're working hard on it, that is the point where you can say, I'm immune, I can go out and live my life now. And I don't think we get to really open for business until we can, on a massive scale, do the antibody blood test for everyone. And I imagine that that's going to create a host of logistical problems too. This is going to be a very big test of our ability to deal with adversity, because it's only just begun, all right? You know, the death toll is going to climb. At some point, you're probably going to know somebody that has died from this virus. And just prepare yourself mentally for that, because it can't be stopped. You know, and for those of you who think that locking down is going to stop it, I hate to break it to you, even the government knows that that is not the case. The scientists, the doctors, they all know that that's not the case. We will all get this virus at some point, at least 80% of the population. You know, that 20% is probably accounting for rural populations that don't get exposed to a lot of people very often. And even they, at some point, will probably a year from now get the virus. So that's how nature works. I realize I'm approaching the highway and this is probably not the best place to vlog. So, is there a way around? It's a good question. It's an awful lot of fucking cars too. I gotta say, the traffic here has been very, I don't know, there's a lot of fucking traffic right now. And motherfuckers, I imagine that there's not a lot of social distancing going on, you know. So be careful out there. I plan on being as careful as I can be despite being out in the world, either in a truck or on the trail. Those are the things I'm considering. I want to try and get away from everything for a bit. Not only just to distance myself from constantly being bombarded with the fear and the negativity and the bullshit, but also to prevent being a part of this pandemic, you know. And that's my plan. I don't know if it's the right thing to do, don't know if it's the wrong thing to do, but it's one of the last freedoms I apparently have, is to decide my own fate. So if you don't want to be locked down, my answer is continue social distancing when you're out and about, and try and become an essential worker. They're all hiring right now. Trucking's hiring, medical field is hiring, logistics are hiring, warehouses are hiring, grocery stores are hiring. You know, all these essential employees need more essential employees. Why? Because there's some essential employees who are either getting sick and getting taken off the workforce, and they're going to need people to stand up and take their place as this continues to spread through the population. So if you don't mind rolling the dice a little early and you want to avoid the economic calamity that's befalling us, get out there and be an essential worker, you know. And just look, there's tons of companies that are hiring right now. Pharmacies are hiring, and they're going to need people because people are going to get sick and have to be quarantined. You know, when you're out here being an essential worker, you are rolling the dice every fucking day. And sooner or later, you might lose your save and throw and have to fucking be, you know, taken out of the game. And they're going to need somebody else to fill those roles. So it's the same for, you know, and some of you might not have the skill set to do that, but keep in mind that these places need people to clean too. That's the other thing. We're going to need people to disinfect shit, to clean shit, you know, Look around. Maybe you'll be surprised that you might be able to find a job during this. If it weren't for some of the delays that I'm going through getting into trucking, they're more than eager to get me out there. Freight is booming right now. And there was a trucker shortage before all this shit started. Not to mention now the virus might take out even more drivers. So keep that in mind. It's a fight that we're in. We're fighting for our survival right now. Every last one of us. And how you choose to fight it, whether it's making sure you stay home, whether it's becoming an essential worker, or how you are following the social distancing rules, just keep in mind that there will always be individuals that are dicks, that do not give a fuck, that believe somehow they're immortal. I am not one of those people. I know full well I am not immune to this. You know, I hope I'm immune. I did get sick, but that doesn't mean it was fucking COVID-19. I didn't get a test to verify that. So I don't consider myself to be, you know, I know I'm out here taking a chance with my own health, and I'm okay with that. You know, if I end up getting it, I end up getting it. And I hope I roll my dice and I win. But like I said, sooner or later, we're all going to have to roll our dice. It's just the fucking way it is. There's nothing we can do about it. All we're doing by staying in the house and social distancing is delaying that. But at some point, all of us will have rolled the dice. We will establish herd immunity. And people will have tragically passed away in that process. And that sucks. But as long as we can keep this slow enough for our healthcare system to adapt and overcome, hopefully they do, then maybe we can keep those numbers down. But what the fuck do I know anyway? Because I'm not a fucking expert. I'm just a fucking asshole. Please like and subscribe for more fucking videos, and I'll continue to document. Follow me on DLive if you want to keep up with my future live streams. As far as Twitch, I'll try and figure it out, but I was mainly doing karaoke on there, and I don't know if I'll be able to continue to do that. But I'll try. We'll see. Might not have any vocal effects if I do it. But that's the plan, I guess. Please link below for my LBRY videos. There will be exclusives on there. For all I know, this is one of them. But whenever a video doesn't fly on YouTube or gets the yellow icon or does any of that shit, you'll have to go to LBRY to watch it. So we'll see how that goes. Stay safe out there, though. Don't take chances with other people's lives. It's up to you what you do with your life. But if you choose to take chances out there, like I am choosing to do, you might want to take into account the vulnerable people and the unvulnerable people in your life. And if at any time you're gonna fucking hang out with somebody and have social contact with somebody, make sure you talk to the motherfucker and make sure they're okay with it too. I know a lot of people who are okay with it. I still choose not to expose them to the chances that I've taken, you know, but minimize as much. Don't do anything you know, don't expose people needlessly, you know. If you do hang out with motherfuckers, keep some distance. You might have to raise your voice to talk to them. Don't shake hands, don't hug, don't fuck. You know, don't do all of these things. I know that's a reach. You know, casual sex needs to take a break for a while. But, you know, just make sure you communicate with anybody you do end up in contact with, because that contact could be spreading the virus. And you're going to feel like a piece of shit if your immortal, invincible friend ends up in the fucking hospital not able to breathe. All right? Because we don't know the underlying health conditions of everyone. You know, there's plenty of people who think they're healthy that I can tell you are not. And that hasn't changed. And keep in mind that 75% of Americans are pre-diabetic and don't know it, which probably could be considered an underlying condition. It's a pretty awesome area here. I've never been here. Wonder where this goes. So do what you can to not expose motherfuckers, all right? Don't do it. There's no need to. I'm out here by myself. Do I have a bunch of friends that would have loved to come out here with me? Absolutely I do. Steve's working. Christy's doing whatever Christy does, but Christy's a part of the vulnerable population. I would feel like a bag of shit, even though she likely doesn't care. I would feel bad if I was the one that gave it to her, you know? So, and she has lupus, and that's, you know, I'm sorry if you're watching this, Christy. You're vulnerable. That's why, you know, I haven't been too, you know, getting too close lately, because I did take a lot of chances, especially, you know, applying for trucking. Because I can tell you that probably exposed me to other people, and a couple people from New York City. And that's what really is kind of set me to being more cautious, is realizing that some people from New York City were in that orientation. And that's where our current largest concentration of motherfuckers is, in New York State, that has the virus. So there's about 111 motherfuckers here in Onondaga County also. We've got 4 people in the ICU. So we're under control so far here as far as people requiring hospitalization. But that could change any day. So take care, everybody. You know, I feel like my channel is going to go to shit during all of this, because I'm not going to be putting out as much content. I'm not going to be able to go live all the time. I will tell you, once I'm out there, whether it's in the truck or on the trail or car camping or whatever it is I choose to do, I am going to start Monday on TikTok. You know, a little short form content I can do with my phone. So follow me on TikTok, ScottTheTruckDriver, and starting Monday, I'll be producing small little videos, hopefully from a truck. And yeah, we'll see where all of this goes. But I hope something works out, because shit's a little fucked up right now. Shit's just not right. Have a nice motherfucking day and shit. This is a nice little patch of trails here. I have to remember it. There's not a lot of people here either, considering everyone's off from work, except for essential motherfuckers. All right, have a nice motherfucking day. Trying to do a little test. My motherfucking phone as I walk back. It's without the gimbal. Selfie camera. This looks pretty fucking jittery. It's getting a little crowded. That other parking lot is absolutely fucking full. So like I think I chose wisely. I think I chose the least crowded. Like if you look, no one's out. There's a lot of space, a lot of place to get around. It's pretty cool. So Long Branch is the way to go. Tell everybody watches this video and comes here. And shit. Looks like tailgating going on. Just as I said, social distancing is a thing. Tailgating and shit. Not a lot of social distancing there. So there's that. So question of the day. How effective is social distancing and shutting every business down? This is a question. If you've stayed with the video this long. Just wanted to leave you with this question. As I just observed in the parking lot. And I know it's not just going on here. This is like the least populated parking lot. I guarantee you there's other parking lots where this is going on. People who normally would go to a bar, normally go to a restaurant, normally do all of that shit, they're choosing to tailgate in parking lots to hang out together. That's how desperate we are for human contact. This is why our current measures will fail. Short of, and you have two options. Either you declare martial law, which I don't even know if I can say that without getting in trouble. Either you declare martial law and crack down and arrest and fine people, which the people are pushing for that, or you do the South Korean way, isolate the vulnerable, isolate the people that are, that test positive. If you test positive, you will be quarantined. No ifs, ands, or buts. Mandatory. Enforced mandatory. I don't care if you have the fucking ankle bracelet, motherfuckers. If you're sick, stay home. Mandatory. If you're in contact with someone who's sick, you also have to stay home. That's really it. But until we get our testing completely ramped up and determine who's immune, who's had it and resolved, who's has it currently, we're not ready to do that yet. But I will say, this is why it's going to fail. And you might be like, I'm not going to call the cops on them. It's not my job. I'm not here to police people who are choosing to take their chances like that. It's not my place, and I don't think the cops should be doing it. Does that mean I don't care? No, I think they're assholes for doing it. And I feel bad for the people that they might be in contact with. But I did note that every single one of them is of the vulnerable age. So there's that. But like I said, it's an all or nothing thing. You can't slow it down this way. We're not going to flatten the fucking curve by doing this. We're not, because of precisely that reason. I'm thinking, hey, on the one hand, they're free to do it. Currently, it's their choice. I hope that they're taking precautions. That's it. And that's the problem I have when I see that, is while they might not give a shit about themselves, are they protecting and not exposing other people? That's the question. So, but there's going to continue to be this problem. And what's going to happen, I think, given the current fear climate, is we'll end up under martial law at some point. Because people are going to continue to do this otherwise. And we've seen this in other countries where they've cracked down to the point of arresting and jailing people who don't comply. So there's that. We're under an order, no gatherings of any size. And when I see multiple cars pulled up together tailgating, I know that that's not a thing. Now, some of them are closer than 6 feet to each other. I don't know if that counts. I don't know what the rules are. But what can we do? What when this is going on? And honestly, I can't blame them for another reason. Is I know I'm about to go to the store and it's going to be ridiculously bad. And maybe I'll film some of it. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be on this shaky-ass phone if I do. Or maybe I'll get the... I don't know. I'm almost out of juice on the Osmo. So there's that. But we'll see. I might put a little montage of the lockdown as I go to the store to buy supplies for trucking. Because it is an essential job. This is an essential trip. And I'm not looking forward to it, though. I'll tell you that. I even wonder if I'm going to be able to find everything. So, what can you do, you know? I'm on the fence, too, you know? I want to be angry at people that aren't, you know, that are flaunting the rules. Only if they're... And I don't know. That's the other thing I have to take into consideration. I don't know their situation. Maybe they already had it. You ever think of that? You know, maybe they all live together, though with multiple cars. I don't see how that's a thing. I think it's just some old people that don't like being isolated and they want to hang out with their friends. And since they can't go anywhere else, they're literally setting up some chairs and some coolers with beer in a parking lot. And I have a funny feeling this ain't the only place that's going on. So while everyone wants to point at the college kids and call them pieces of shit, I'm here to say that the college kids aren't the only ones bending the rules. There's some boomers over there doing the same shit. It's America. What do you expect? Did you really expect we were going to lock down? Even if you do declare martial law, do you really think there aren't going to be motherfuckers pushing it? It's the way it is, you know. But I'm staying away from motherfuckers. Except for now when I go to Walmart. I'll be glad when this shit's over. I really will. This is why social distancing won't work. I guarantee you can't stay 6 feet apart in there. And I gotta fucking go in there. Yeah, there's just no way. I gotta buy shit for the truck. Yeah, I guess I just gotta roll the dice today. How much you wanna bet? Some of the motherfuckers that are here right now are them ones talking shit on like Facebook about motherfucking social distancing and how if you don't social distance you're a piece of shit. I look over, we got a grocery store over here, parking lot's fucking jam-packed as well. And this is every day, by the way. I don't go in the store very much, but when I drive by it, and when I was working Uber, it was like this every day at all the stores, even though everything else was closed. And, yeah. Every day, it's like this. This is why it's bred in Italy, motherfuckers. Just saying. This is why it's bred in Italy.